takeout financing. Okay, this is also a current affair. And now but it's a concept. They can ask you what is this takeout financing. Okay, so takeout financing is, okay, basically try to understand from the term. It's, see, takeout financing. What is financing? Giving loan, funding someone. That is financing. What is takeout? For example, I'll just explain you with an example. Imagine a loan. A loan which is having a term for 15 years. Okay, this loan will be repaid in 15 years. Loan will be repaid in 15 years. Now, normally, there will be a financial institution. Financial institution A will give this loan for the borrower, and after 6 or 7 years, this loan will be taken over by another financial institution B. So, how much for if it is after 7 years? If it is after 7 years, what is the remaining period? 8 years. For the remaining period, so what this B financial institution will do, the remaining amount, so for the first 7 years, A have got the money, principal and interest, and the remaining amount B will pay back. So now A have got the entire money which has been lended to the borrower. Now what from the remaining 8 years, B will be lending to the customer. Imagine C is the customer or the borrower. Now here, what is the advantage? This is what is called as takeout financing. So B has taken over the remaining amount of A and B here are financial institution, and thereby you know that as the tenure of a loan increases, the risk associated with that loan is high. Especially in infrastructure financing, we require loan of longer tenure, and banks don't have since banks have a problem of high NPA, this takeout financing will help them to reduce that NPA, because once the tenure comes down, the risk of default will also be lower. So takeout financing is one of the option being suggested. So that's the reason why this concept of takeout financing is important for you. So takeout financing is nothing but it is a financing for long term, basically for infrastructure. Here there will be more than one financial institution will be lending, but over a period of time at a staggered interval, a new financial institution will take over the remaining principal amount, and the first financial institution which has lended the money, their amount will be settled, and thereby it will reduce the risk of default for the first financial institution, the first lender who has given money to the customer. Now we will try to see this. Okay, so takeout financing is nothing but it's a method of providing finance for longer duration projects of about 15 years by banks. So we note down this is in relation to banks. It is provided by banks. Takeout financing is provided by banks, sanctioning medium-term loans for 5 to 7 years. Okay, so if it is for a 15-year, banks will provide a medium-term loan of 5 to 7 years, and then remaining period it will be taken over by another finance. So loan will be taken out of books of the financing bank within prefixed period by another institution, thus preventing any possible asset liability. So this will prevent, for the banks, takeout financing prevent asset liability mismatch. Why? What is this asset liability mismatch? Is that, okay, for bank, loans are assets, okay, and deposits are liability. Okay, since banks don't have a 15-year term period liabilities, okay, or to match it, okay, since banks asset and banks liability, okay, so banks liabilities and banks asset have to be matched. So since 15-year, if the banks are giving loan for 15-year period, especially for huge infrastructure loans are huge amount, they cannot match this asset liability, but having for a shorter period and a lesser amount, bank can prevent this asset liability mismatch. So be very clear about the features of takeout financing. Now we will solve this question. Which of the following is not a feature of takeout financing? It is long-term financing. Long-term financing is a feature of takeout financing. Higher asset liability mismatch. So this is wrong. There will be the major reason for takeout financing is to prevent. The major feature of takeout financing is to prevent the asset liability mismatch of banks. Why? Because now since the bank which is giving loan is only for 5 to 7 years, there it can prevent this asset liability mismatch. So saying higher asset liability mismatch is a wrong statement, and this is the wrong state. They are asked for not wrong statement or not a feature of takeout financing. B is not a feature, so B will be your answer. Regarding C, we know that incentivize infrastructure financing, that's a correct statement. Takeout of loans by another institution. So A, C and D are features of takeout financing. B is not a feature of takeout financing. So B is your answer. They are asking for not a feature, a current affair and a concept.